Right. All good. And are we going live on Facebook yet? Has there been any notification of that? Uh, I'm just going to announce you and assume that it's all working.
Absolutely. I did get a notice that it was being recorded, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
they're being recorded, but it's usually, but there's, Waleed, are we
It
up on
says
Facebook yet?
it says live streaming.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. Um, So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and assembled company, welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. And it's Friday, so it's
Yeah.
stories for children. And all the way from the US of A, we have our own Deborah Weller. Welcome, Deborah. Have you got a story or 10 for us?
I've got several waiting for everyone today. I'm
Well,
excited to be sharing
well,
some.
after I've said hello to Louis, which I failed to do, for which I sincerely apologise, I'm going to hand over to Deborah. Deborah, take it away.
Thank you, John. It's always nice to be performing here on the World Storytelling Cafe. I'm greeting Terry Lott from Ohio and Louie, of course. Russell's in the background, and to all of our friends who are watching on Facebook or who will later watch on the website of World Storytelling Cafe. I'm Deborah Weller, storyteller. I live in Florida, USA, and I've been a storyteller for way too many years, but it's always been a lot of fun. So let's get the story started. I want to tell you a story, spin you a yarn, take you on a magic trip here and beyond. Bring your imagination and a happy smile. Please gather round, sing along, listen for a while. This morning I was at a school. I told stories to 180 kindergarten children. It was a lot of fun. So I'll be telling you some of those stories. My stories today will be a little bit seasonal because we're in the month of October. We might think about harvest. And so we'll have some harvest tales. We might be thinking a little bit toward the end of the month when it's the holiday of Halloween. And it's especially big in the United States, and other countries have their own customs related to the Day of Dead and also to those wonderful customs that come on the eve of Halloween. But today I'm going to share a story with you. Now, once there was a little boy, and he woke up very grumpy. I don't want to get up. I don't want to play. And his mommy came in the room and said, it's time to get dressed. Come on down so you can eat your breakfast. I don't know if I want any breakfast. Well, you need to come down because today's a new day, and I'm sure we'll find something fun for you to do. So the little boy grumbled his way. He put on his pants and he put on his shirt. He put on his socks and he put on his shoes and he scuffed around the room. He opened the door to his room and he tramped down the stairs. I'm so grumpy today. I'm so grumpy today. He went into the kitchen and his mom had some pancakes. Do you like to eat pancakes? I know I do. And she had butter on them and syrup. And he sat down and he drank some milk and he started eating his pancakes. Thank you, Mom. Oh, well, that's better, my son. I'm glad you said thank you to me today. So, what can we do to scare away all your grumpiness? I don't know. Why don't you play with your Legos? No. Why don't you build with your blocks? No. Why don't you read a book? No. Why don't you do some artwork? No. Why don't you help me clean the house? No, I don't think so. Well, You know you have your chores to do, but I would like to challenge you today to go on an adventure. What kind of adventure? It'll be like a treasure hunt. Well, what do I have to find? I want you to be looking for a little house that has no windows and doors, but has a star inside of it. What could that be, Mommy? I don't know, but after you finish eating, go outside. Ask the animals on our farm. See if you can find the little house that has no windows and doors and has a star inside. I don't know, Mommy, that could be hard. Ha! It'll be a wonderful treasure hunt. Okay, finish up your pancakes. So he finished up his pancakes and then he put on his jacket and zipped it up. For it was the fall and it was a little cool. Bye, Mommy. I'm going to find the little red house that has no windows and doors and has a star inside, I guess. So he went down the steps and he went into the yard. First, he went over to the chicken coop and he saw the mother hen sitting on her eggs. Oh, Mama Hen, Mommy sent me to find a little red house that has no windows and doors and has a star inside. Do you know anything about that? Nope, haven't seen anything like that. But I could give you an egg. Oh, thank you. I'll come by later to get it. Thank you, Mrs. Hen. And he trotted off into the barn. And there was Bessie the cow, and he patted her on her back. Bessie, Bessie, can you help me? Moo, moo. What do you want? Well, Mommy sent me on an adventure to find a little red house that has no windows and doors and a star inside. Moo. I don't know about that, but I could give you some delicious milk. Well, thank you, Bessie. I'll come by later and I'll come and get the milk. Thank you so much. So he ran outside and went down the path to the gate of their farm. He opened the gate and he started walking down. I'm going on an adventure. What will I see? A little red house with no windows and doors. I wonder where it could be. I wonder where it could be. He passed a little friend, Cassie, on the road, and Cassie was jumping rope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. Hey, Cassie, I'm on an adventure. Can I come with you? Well, I don't know. Mommy's sending me on this adventure all by myself today. Well, what do you have to find? She told me it was a treasure hunt and I needed to find a little red house with no windows and doors that has a star inside. I don't know. I never heard of that. Maybe you should go ask Farmer Brown. So I said, thanks, Cassie. I'll see you later and then I'll come jump rope with you after I find my treasure. So he went off again and he came to the farm of Farmer Brown. And he looked all around, he couldn't see him. So he walked down the path to the barn. When he got in the barn, Farmer Brown was working hard. He had his pitchfork and he was shoveling the hay into the stalls. And he said, hey, son, why are you here today? Well, Farmer Brown, my mama sent me on a treasure hunt. I have to find a little red house that has no windows and doors, and it has a star inside. That's what Mommy wants me to find today. The farmer scratched his chin. Well, son, don't think I have anything like that here in my barn, but I suggest you go take a walk in my orchard. It's time of the year when things have been ready for harvest and maybe you'll find something out there. Oh, thank you, Farmer Brown. I'll go for a walk in your orchard. So the little boy wasn't feeling as grumpy as he had been when he woke up because he was out in the sunshine with the air, the breeze, and the leaves were fluttering on all of the trees in the orchard. He went over to one tree that had gnarled limbs. And on those gnarled limbs was some shiny red fruit. We know the name of that fruit as an apple. He looked up at the tree and he thought about what Mommy said. She said, a little red house with no windows and doors that has a star inside. I don't see any stars. It is red. It is little. So he plucked it off the tree. And there he had a delicious red apple. Well, I'll ask Mommy to slice it and I can enjoy it later. So he cradled it in his hand and he carried it all the way home. He was so excited to show his mom, even though it might not be what she was looking for. He ran into the house, sat down in the kitchen, set the apple on the counter, and said, Mom, I'm not sure if this is the right treasure, but you told me to look for a little red house that has no windows and doors. And, well, an apple could be a little red house, don't you think? Oh, my son, yes, it could. Now, the secret is, does it have a star inside? I never seen a star before in an apple. Well, here's what we're going to do. I'll get a knife and a chopping board, and we're going to turn this apple on its side. Why, Mommy? Because if we're going to find a star, it needs to be on its side. So the mother got the knife and she sliced through that apple. And then they turned it over. And what was inside of that apple? Stars. The boy was so excited, he and his mom danced around the kitchen. Mommy, it's a little red house that has no windows and doors and a star inside. Yes, we found it. And now you solved the treasure. And he and his mom sliced that apple and enjoyed all the sweetness of it. Right now, there's a holiday going on, and it's called Rosh Hashanah. And at our house, we have sliced the little red house with no windows and doors, and we dipped it in honey to enjoy and ensure a sweetness of the new year. But you can find stars in your apple, but remember, do not slice your apple this way. Turn the apple on its side to find the star. And that's a little folk tale, The Little Red House with No Windows and Doors. And I share it with you today. Thank you. Well, I've got apples on my mind since we've been celebrating Rosh Hashanah, and we've had some delicious apple pie and apple kugel, and the sweetness of that fruit is delicious. But I have a counting song for you. How many apples do you see in my drawing? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what color are they? Thank you. Terry's got 5 on her hand. And with this, we have 5 green apples. Well, in that story, there was a Farmer Brown. And in this song, there is a Farmer Brown. You can join in once you hear the pattern of the story. I'll warn you now, it's a subtraction song. That means we will take away some of the apples and wind up with 0 at one point. Are we ready to sing the song? Farmer Brown had 5 green apples hanging from the tree. Farmer Brown had 5 green apples hanging from the tree. Then he plucked one apple and ate it greedily, leaving 4 green apples hanging from the tree. Farmer Brown had 4 green apples hanging from the tree. Farmer Brown had 4 green apples hanging from the tree. Then he plucked 1 apple and ate it greedily, leaving 3 green apples hanging from the tree. What? We had 5. Now we only have 3. Oh, that's subtraction. Farmer Brown had 3 green apples hanging from the tree. Farmer Brown had 3 green apples hanging from the tree. Then he plucked 1 apple and ate it greedily, leaving how many? Whoop, it's hard. Put my hand right there. 2. You got it, Lewis. 2 green apples hanging from the tree. Farmer Brown had 2 green apples hanging from his tree. Farmer Brown had 2 green apples hanging from his tree. Then he plucked 1 apple and ate it greedily, leaving 1 green apple hanging from the tree. Farmer Brown had 1 green apple hanging from his tree. Farmer Brown had 1 green apple hanging from his tree. Then he plucked 1 apple and ate it greedily. Oh, leaving 0 green apples hanging from his tree. 0. I hope Farmer Brown enjoyed all of those green apples in his belly. Huh. But what is this word? I hope it's not too backwards on your screen, but it might be. It's not backwards. Thank you, Terry, for checking in. This word is apple. And we'll play some disappearing letters in this song. And it's about the apple. There is a fruit we like to eat, and apple is its name. Oh, A-P-P-L-E, 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 and apple is its name. Oh, but now we're going to take away the A, and we have to clap on that when the letter is missing. There is a fruit we like to eat, and apple is its name. Oh, P-P-L-E, 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 and apple is its name. Oh, uh-oh, I'm taking away the P. We have to clap on the A and the P. There is a fruit we like to eat, and apple is its name. Oh, P-L-E, 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 and apple is its name. Oh, let's cover up the P. Now we only have 2 letters yet, so we have to clap on the other letters. There is a fruit we like to eat, and apple is its name. Oh, L-E, 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 and apple is its name. Oh, make that L disappear. And we just have the E left, the silent E. There is a fruit we like to eat, and apple is its name. Oh, clap it out. E, 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 and apple is its name. Oh no, they're all gone. So now we're going to have to clap on all of the letters. There is a fruit we like to eat, and apple is its name. Oh, and apple is its name. Oh, well, in some countries, around the time of Halloween, legends say that people would carve turnips, and then they would hang the turnips with a little candlelight inside upon their homes to scare away the evil spirits. Well, this story is a fun story about a turnip. Now, this happened to be an enormous turnip. And it had been growing and growing and growing. It was so enormous, it could probably fill up your room, Lewis. A giant, enormous turnip. And as that giant, enormous turnip was growing, the farmer thought, I think I need to pull that turnip out of the ground. Why, yes, he will, because I can make some turnip stew. Well, why not? And so it was that the farmer went over to the turnip and he pulled and he pulled and he pulled. Well, that turnip's just not coming out of the ground. Oh, I better call my wife. Oh, wife, dear, won't you come and help me pull the turnip out of the ground? So the farmer's wife came and she held on to the farmer and the farmer held on to the turnip. And they pulled and they pulled and they pulled, but alas, the turnip would not come out of the ground. Well, I guess I should call our daughter. She'll come over and help pull that turnip out. Do you think the daughter will help? Oh, let's see what happens. So the daughter came along and she took hold of her mother, and the mother took hold of the farmer, and the farmer took hold of that turnip, and they pulled and they pulled and they pulled. But alas, the turnip would not come out of the ground. Oh, what are we gonna do? I know, said the girl. How about if I call our dog? Do you think a dog could help? I'm not sure. Let's see what happened. But the dog had run away. So she decided to call her friend the cat. And she found her cat. And the cat came to help. And the cat pulled on the little girl. And the little girl pulled on the farmer's wife. And the farmer's wife pulled on the farmer. And the farmer pulled on the turnip. And they pulled. And they pulled. And they pulled. But they could not pull the turnip out of the ground. That must have been a stubborn turnip. It wasn't even wiggling. And the cat thought, meow, meow, meow. How about if I call the mouse? And they all said, what? A mouse is too small. A mouse couldn't do anything for us. Why would you call the mouse? Meow, because maybe, just maybe, that little mouse is powerful. They all laughed. No way could that happen. And so it was that they called the little mouse. And the mouse came by. I might be small, but I sure am big. I might be small, but I sure am big. You're too small to help us. Well, I'm here and I'm going to help you. Just wait till you see. And so the little mouse held on to the cat. The cat held on to the little girl. The little girl held on to the woman. And the farmer's wife held on to the farmer. And the farmer held on to the turnip. And they pulled and they pulled and they pulled, and up came the turnip at last. And it was really enormous. What would they do with it? And it started rolling down the hill, and it rolled and rolled, and it came within inches of the farmer's house. And the farmer said, what should we do with it? And his wife said, oh, I'm going to chop it up and we're going to have some turnip stew. Would everyone help me make it? And sure enough, they all came to help the turnip stew get made. And they chopped it and they put it in the stew pot with some carrots and some onions and some potatoes too. And when it was all done, bubbling and boiling on that stove, they all sat down and enjoyed. Can you taste that turnip stew also? It's so delicious. And they enjoyed it. Now, turnips can be harvested at this time of the year. We have the wheat being brought in a few weeks ago. The wheat was brought in before the wet weather began. And the oats have been brought in, the alfalfa and the barley. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Do you or I or anyone know how oats, peas, beans, and barley grow? And they grow for animals to eat and for us to eat throughout the winter. But I'm thinking of something else that grows in the fields that's being harvested right now. When it's fully ripe, they're bright orange. They grow from seeds and they start out in the ground after you plant them. I'll plant a little seed in the dark, dark ground. Out comes the yellow sun, big and round. Down comes the cool rain, soft and slow. Up comes a little seed, grow, grow, grow. Well, when a pumpkin seed grows, it starts with the seed, it gets a little root growing, and then it pushes its way up through the ground until it's a tiny little sprout. Then it starts growing into a vine with leaves that are pretty big. And at first, it's a little green pumpkin. And then, as the sun warms it, it gets bigger and bigger until at last it could be a round little orange pumpkin, or some are giant pumpkins. Miss Terry might live in a place where there are farms that have giant pumpkins. And they're all being out and about now, showing in the farmers' markets. Well, I have a little story for you about a pumpkin. It's called the fierce gobble gobble vegetable. In a field. It had been a warm, warm summer. And in that field, the farmer had planted many crops, but he planted his pumpkin seeds. And he also had put up a scarecrow to scare away the birds that might come and steal his seeds. And the scarecrow was fierce looking. One of its button eyes had fallen down and was hanging by a thread. The clothes were all tattered and torn. It was a fierce-looking scarecrow. And when the earth was just right in the spring and the rains had come down, those pumpkin seeds he planted started to sprout, like I told you about. They got their roots, and then they got little sprouts. And before long, the vine was growing all along the field, hundreds and hundreds of pumpkins, expecting to be harvested later on. But there was one little green pumpkin, about this big, just a little one. And it woke up one morning and looked up. Wow, look at the world where I live in. I see a scarecrow, but it doesn't frighten me. No, because I want to grow up to be a fierce gobble gobble vegetable, and I want to scare everyone. But it had to wait, for it was only a little green pumpkin. the rains would come down, the sun would shine, and it got a little bigger. And it got even bigger. And it would wake up every morning when the winds were starting to blow as the seasons were changing and say, oh, I really want to be a fierce gobble gobble vegetable. I want to be as fierce as that scarecrow. That's my wish. And so it was that, like most things when they grow, it soon turned orange and it grew a little more. And then the farmer put up a big sign on his property, pumpkin field, come get your pumpkins. It was October, and families were thinking about making jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween decorations, or just to have beautiful pumpkins out and about for the harvest season to decorate their yards or their tables and their homes. And with that little pumpkin was on the vine still, and it was waiting, and it heard voices, children. Oh, I hope they come and pick me because I'm going to be a really fierce gobble gobble vegetable. I really hope they come and pick me. And it waited and waited several days, and no one cut that little pumpkin off the vine. Oh, I hope they come. I hope they come. I don't want to be left in the field and then I'll just mush up and turn to seeds. Well, the little pumpkin got its wish, for a family came by carrying a big red flyer wagon, and they were all looking for the perfect fierce gobble gobble pumpkin. They looked to the side and they looked over here, and at last they saw that fierce gobble gobble vegetable. They also saw that scarecrow flying in the wind and trying to scare away the birds. Mom, that's one we want. Can you cut it off the vine? And Mom had a special knife, and she snipped it off the vine, and they put it in their wagon, and they brought it up to the front of the farm. And it was that as they brought it up to the front of the farm, they paid the farmer money so he could buy more seeds and plant more pumpkins the next year. They brought it all the way home and set it on the table. And Mom was in there when the little pumpkin was starting to sing inside. Ho, 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 hee, hee, hee. Mice will run when they see me. Now the family couldn't hear him singing at all, but he was feeling happy inside. And then Mom said, okay, what do you want your jack-o'-lantern to look like? And they went back and forth, the brother and his sister. I want pointing upside down eyes. I want a fierce snarl, a little pumpkin like that. Ho, 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 hee, hee, hee. Mice will run when they see me. Well, said Mom, who would like to do the eyes? I will, said the little boy. And the little girl said, can I do the nose? Yes. And Dad said, can I do the mouth? Why, yes. And so it was that they had special pumpkin carving knives so no one would get hurt. And they began to carve their pumpkin, and they carved the eyes and the nose and the mouth. And you can pretend to do that in the air. And when it was done, it looked like that. And the little pumpkin was feeling more fierce. Oh, 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 hee, 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 mice will run when they see me. Now they had to wait one day. The children could hardly sleep. Mom, I've got my Halloween costume ready. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And Mom said, well, you have to sleep one more sleep, and then we can have Halloween. Okay, I've got my trick-or-treat bag. I'm so excited, Mom. I'm so excited. Well, the children laid out their costumes. The next morning, they woke up. They ate their breakfast, brushed their teeth, got dressed, and went to school. They could hardly sit in their seats all day. And while they were at school, that little pumpkin sang, ho, 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 hee, 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 mice will run when they see me. When the children got home, they had their dinner early that night, for it was getting dark. And as soon as it was dark, it was time to go out trick-or-treating. They put on their costumes, and then Mom said, let's put the pumpkin jack-o'-lantern on a table by our window so it faces the front yard and everyone could see it. Oh, Pumpkin was so excited. Oh, 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 hee, mice will run when they see me. Well, they did that. They put it on a table and it was looking out toward the front of the house. And Mom had a little light and put it inside of the pumpkin. And soon it had a glow all over the room, casting shadows here and there and everywhere. And that made the little fierce gobble gobble vegetable so happy. He was singing and wiggling on the table. Ho, 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 hee, mice will run when they see me. Well, the children went out trick-or-treating and they were gone for a while. And people would come and knock on the door, and Mom and Dad would hand out the candy treats to the costume children and say, oh, we like that costume. A little ghost, a little witch, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Oh, you all look so cute. And then the children came home. And as usual, they dumped out their bags of the treats and they began sorting them. I've got chocolate. Do you have chocolate? I've got lollipops. Oh, I love what you have. Can we trade? And they would trade some of the candy, and Mom and Dad would come by and snitch a few pieces too. When they were done, the children sat down in front of that fierce gobble gobble vegetable. His light was still on. He hadn't scared a mouse yet. He was a little sad about that. And from the corner of the room, screeching across that floor, came a little mouse. No one saw it yet. It climbed up the table leg and onto the table right next to that fierce gobble gobble vegetable. And when it saw the light coming out, it shrieked. And it ran away. It jumped off the table, ran right back to the little hole in the corner of the tiny room. And now that fierce gobble gobble vegetable was so heavy. I scared a mouse. I scared the mouse in the house. I scared a mouse. Ho, 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 hee, mice will run when they see me. Well, Mama came over and blew out the candle. They had saved all the seeds. Some they roasted in the oven to have as a snack. And Mom saved some of those seeds so that in the springtime, the children were able to plant those pumpkin seeds so they'd have their own fierce gobble gobble vegetable. Are you excited about Halloween coming? It's not celebrated in all countries around the world, but people do plant pumpkins and eat them as food in many countries around the world because it's a gourd. And if you do it, let's think of the things you could make with a pumpkin. Who likes pumpkin pie? I do. Who likes pumpkin soup? Yummy, yummy, yummy. Who would like a pumpkin tart? Or a pumpkin cake? I even saw in the store pumpkin ice cream. There are many different ways. And roasted pumpkin, I had that in South Africa. It was so delicious. So we have the fun stories that we can tell. A pumpkin is big. A pumpkin is round. A pumpkin has a great big smile, but doesn't make a sound. Now, with sign language, you can do this for mask. See my jack-o'-lantern smiling out at you, but you don't have to be afraid, for it can't holler. Boom! Did that surprise you? You can make lots of fun surprises with your family. We have time for one more story today. And this is one that's an old folk tale. There's several different versions of it. And I'd like to invite you, once you hear the pattern, to tell it with me. Now, the part that we say together will be dark, dark night. But it will change from time to time as to what we say beyond just the word night. But here's the secret to telling it really well. If you want to tell a story that can make your family jump but still be fun, when you get to the dark, dark part, you don't want to say it fast like this. Dark, 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 dark. It wasn't dark, dark, dark. You want to say it with what's called cadence, where we say it, it was a dark, dark night. That puts a little bit of spooky expectation into the story, but it's not too terribly scary. And I'd like to invite you to decide, I think we'll hold it off to the end. What would you put in a box? Think about that while I'm telling the story, and we'll see how it comes out. It was a dark, dark night. And in the dark, dark night, there was a dark, dark woods. And in the dark, dark woods, there was a dark, dark forest. And in that dark, dark forest, there was a dark, dark house. And in that dark, dark house, there was a dark, dark room. And in that dark, dark room, there was a dark, dark closet. And in that dark, dark closet, there was a dark, dark shelf. And on that dark, dark shelf, there was a dark, dark box. And in that dark, dark box, open your box. There was a ghost. Did it scare you just a little bit? Not too scary, right? But you could put whatever you want in that box. Will it be a dinosaur? Will it be a spider? What could be in your box when you tell that story? I want to thank you for joining us on the World Storytelling Cafe today. It's been so much fun. And Louis, thank you so much. And I saw some comments where people were thinking about apples dipped in caramel. That would be delicious. And Louis, yes, you're right. That story is like another one that you know that comes from the UK and from that heritage over there. I agree. There's so many ways that as stories traveled around the world, they were changed based on who was telling them. So I want to sing my goodbye song before I go and thank everyone who has joined us today or who will be joining us later. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I'll be on my way. You listen well to my stories today. I want to thank you and to say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I hope to see you soon again someday. If you celebrate Halloween, happy Halloween. And if you're celebrating the harvest, enjoy all the fruits of the harvest season. Thank you.
And thank you, Deborah. Fantastic. One more round of applause for Deborah, please. Happy New Year to you. And thank Waleed for flying the magic carpet as usual. Thank King Louis for being our quality control and everyone else that has come today. Thank you very much. Deborah will be back in December, I think. For in her in a totally different guise, I expect, but possibly we're wearing a lot of red. But the nothing is to be seen. What we got coming up? Well, next Friday is Michael Kerrins. That's always a treat. And this Sunday, 6 o'clock, is Worldwide Story Round. You're all invited to come and tell a story or just listen. Terry, you make up your own mind whether you're going to be audience or participant. Both are important. It's equally important. Norman, if you come, you've got no excuse for being an audience and just an audience. You can be a participant because because there are you reach a certain seniority and there's no escape. But that's 6 o'clock on Sunday. Mike Rust will be hosting that. Meanwhile, thank you very much and goodbye from the World Storytelling Cafe. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Louie.
Bye, Deborah. Bye, Terry. Bye, Russell. Bye, John. Bye, Norman.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Louie.
Bye.